Oh, what's up? What's up, YouTube land? We're doing Knuckles. The Idana.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an actual thing, right? Right. Okay, let's go. Is this... Wait, this is Oh No, right?
Yes.
Oh no. Oh no.
Comfy.
Yeah, let's get comfy. We just got done playing all the hardest songs in Rock Band, trying to gold star them in our newest part.
And we did all of them except for one.
Yep.
Which we didn't even, like, get beyond the first 20 seconds, literally.
Literally the first, 8 measures. Alright, but now it's time for comfy time, and then after this, I'm doing what is quite possibly the hardest boss in any game that I've ever played, which is the true final boss of Demon's Crest on SNES.
Always guarding the master.
I just don't know how you're supposed to do it without, like, literally 5 full health potions, which is the max you can have.
I don't know why I was given this job, why it was my fate. Destined to be here forever.
Remember Sonic Boom? That's the one where they had, like, really long torsos and stuff, right?
And they had bandages all over their hands and legs.
Nomura. I know he had something to do with it.
Yeah.
What the?
What the?
It's the complete opposite of Nomura. It was all a Western branch. All those designs in the games came from America or Canada.
Oof. Oh, of course it's Canada. I do like how Knuckles in this protects the Chaos
Oh no!
Emerald.
Something's happened to the Master Emerald.
What do you think happened? Something.
Did you do this? Oh, I'll get you for this.
Knuckles might be the worst Guardian of Master Emerald ever. Are we finishing today?
No.
Not fair.
Tails, Knuckles and Tails are both the second longest, like, tertiary campaigns. I don't even think I'm gonna finish Tails today. I'm gonna do all Knuckles and then do like half of Tails.
Alrighty. Well, that's perfect. That'll be good timing for that. And then 7th character.
Yeah.
Whoa, that was incredible.
Yeah, if we just save Supersonic for the last part, it'll like literally be like 20 minutes.
Without the Master Emerald's power, this whole island will fall into the ocean.
If only I wasn't 11 years old when this game came out, I could have been an equally good voice actor for Knuckles. Knuckles is like, they just found white guy number 4693.
It had to be like just someone in like Sega of America is just like, they were already working there.
Because like,
do the voice acting.
Tails has like a unique voice. Obviously the voice acting in this game isn't great. Sonic has a unique voice. Everyone has a unique voice except for him's like, oh, I'm Knuckles. We don't have any money to do a second take. Oh really? Yeah, just roll with it.
Yeah, Knuckles has always had kind of a weird voice. I almost think like he should have like a deep, not like a super deep voice, but a deeper voice.
You should be like, I'm Knuckles, the echidna. Guess I better start looking anywhere I can.
Playing characters that actually go fast.
That's right. That's actually, by the way, my real voice. I've been using. This is my fake voice. You know how like English people come over, like the guy who played House in House MD. Hugh Laurie is English, so when he talks, he's like, "Oh yeah, right, yep." But then when he's House, he's like, "It's not lupus." So I've just been using this voice. My real voice is, "Hey, baby."
I love British actors that have to do an American voice. So these are the treasure hunting stages. These are automatically better than the Sonic Adventure 2 ones because the radar isn't gimped. You can actually detect all 3 pieces all at once.
Yeah. Wait, does that... Oh, so it only lets you do one at a time?
Yeah, one at a time.
And this is RNG?
It is RNG, yeah. I'm
guessing there's only a certain amount of places it could be. Like, if you, like, had great knowledge of this game, you'd be like, oh, it's probably this exact spot. This is a cool stage.
I think it's RNG. I kind of remember that this was the place where I did this like 2 days ago. I think it's not RNG. Thanks.
My favorite thing is British bands that sing in their native accent, like Arctic Monkeys. And Oasis?
I think those were all the same places as the last
Oh,
one,
really?
So maybe
Okay.
it's not RNG.
I think, yeah, Oasis, today's gonna be the day, kinda. They're not as much. Arctic Monkeys is like...
Arctic Monkeys doesn't even try.
They don't even try to change
but
it.
that's why they're awesome.
And Beatles comes out and they're like, oh, we're the Beatles. Hey, Jude. It's like, no. You gotta do, hey, Jude, don't be afraid.
Do you think the Beatles would be even close to how popular they are now? If they
Well, it's because of the type of music they did, obviously. Arctic Monkeys music is like, if you saw them playing in like a tavern in England, I assume, you'd be like, hey, it's me boys, Arctic Monkeys, yeah? Like, that's the kind of music they play. Like, Hey Jude and Let It Be and stuff like that is not like, I would consider to be quintessential British music. Stone Roses sings not in English accent as well. Shame. Would have been better. That's like...
Knuckles should have an English voice.
No trains are currently considered.
Hey! Get away from that Master Emerald, isn't it? What? That's actually, like, legitimately the only country I would want to go to besides, like, obviously besides America, which is where I live, would be, like, England or Scotland. Or I guess maybe Ireland. It seems like I wouldn't want to go, like, I know the language, which is a bonus. It's always cold and raining, which is a bonus for me. And, with how hardcore they are about drinking, I could have, like, 1 pint and be like, hey, I'm good, mate! On a cheap date!
Oh my god, just go up.
And until I go and visit there, I assume that, England, and especially London, is literally, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels or Snatch, the movie. Like, that's just literally what it is.
Okay, it's definitely RNG because it was not there last
Okay. By the way, movie-wise, if y'all never have seen Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels or the kind of sequel, Snatch, you really oughta. They're just ridiculously British, kind of dark comedies. I mean, they're definitely funny, but obviously they're about like the mob and silly stuff like that. They're just great. Have you ever seen either of them?
Nope.
Oh, they're so good.
Oof.
This way.
They're my kind
Where'd
of
that thing
humor.
go?
He's going, mate.
That's another reason why these Treasure Hunter stages are better than Sonic Adventure 2. The hint system in 2 is they give you hints in text that basically need you to be familiar with the stage already. But if you're familiar with the stage, you don't need the hints. What were they thinking?
I have CIB Ben just randomly go, one guy, and I was like, the other day I was like, hey, good, and he was like, I didn't start saying that till you said it, and I'm like, good. That's the one thing you have to just take. Anything. They say,
One store, infinite trades.
they say you only live once. One guy, one guy. Yeah, one store, infinite trades. Good. So anyway, how you doing out there, YouTube land? You doing good? Comment below. We get a lot. So
Where in the world
I was telling
am
Trevor
I?
and Big Mike, who longtime CIB watchers will in no way remember. That would be ridiculous.
I don't remember
Gradius 3 in
being
one
here
life.
before.
What's that?
A Gradius 3 in 1
Oh,
life.
but I
Something
beat
about
Gradius
it.
3 in 1 life. Oh, I can't beat
It's
the first
familiar.
level. It's the emulation, isn't it? Anyway,
This is very
I get
strange.
on my YouTube like recommendations. I get every day. I get the recommendation of at least one gaming channel that has whatever the video was put up within the last day or two, and it guaranteed has less than 100 views. Absolutely guaranteed. Sometimes it's like 8 views. There was one. There was a Sri Lankan gaming channel, and it showed 3 minutes, and I'm not joking. I showed Trevor the clip of this. 3 minutes of Metal Gear Solid 2 gameplay. It wasn't them doing anything special. It wasn't them showing anything. It was literally like 3 minutes of them like starting Metal Gear Solid. And I'm like, what?
That's awesome.
How do you get any, who would ever be like, Yes, I'd like to see in very poor quality the first 3 minutes of Metal Gear Solid with no commentary. Thank you.
Better recommend that to Spencer.
Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of why I think over the last couple years we like every video we put up on the first day or two, we get like 20 to 50 views. Sometimes more, but like even if it's one of my random games that no one cares about, it's gonna get like 40 views in the first couple of days.
What's going on here anyway?
And I think that's why. I think our channel just randomly is gonna show up on people's feeds. Which is weird because big YouTubers are always like complaining like, oh, the algorithm, whatever, and it's like, well, why the hell would we or these random channels with like 50 subscribers show up on a random feed? You know what I mean? It's like... So I hope that we show up on your feed instead of like a channel who takes this very seriously and has like 75,000 subscribers. I hope it shows up for you, and I hope you go, heh, and then obviously don't watch the video, you know. But.
Our channel's the greatest because all we do is just either childhood games or just random obscure crap.
Yeah, I feel bad when people are like, hey, you should play GTA 5. It's like, why? First of all, I won't have any fun. Second of all, I'll be playing it for 6 months.
If not a year.
Yeah. Third of all, every single person out there has GTA 5 stuff. So at the very least, if I look at it from like a, oh, grow the channel perspective, it's like, yeah, if I play White Day, a labyrinth called School, at least there's not a billion people out there with it. There's not a billion people looking for it, but there's not a billion people with videos of it. I just had to look up something on a random Rock Band 2 song. I wanted to know the gold star cutoff of a guitar and bass one, and I tried to find it, and I could not find anything but one video of people playing guitar and bass together, and I'm like, oh, maybe that's why I Rock Band videos, because you're either going to do solo, someone like FCing it, full comboing it 100%, or you're going to get the full band.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of, like, let's plays, like, you know, just casually going through the game with commentary with 2 people. I bet
that's true.
For us, it's like kind of a, I wouldn't say it's a one-of-a-kind thing, but
yeah, usually,
very rare.
Usually it's much more edited, like a Game Grumps kind of thing. I don't know if they do it. When I watched literally 12 years ago, it was they would, like, cut it up into 10 minutes and really heavily edit it and whatever. So ours are kind of like a mixture of long plays, but cut up with commentary, which it's like, I can understand you can take it or you can leave it. And once in a while we put up speedruns or something, you know, something like that.
So all of Knuckles' bosses are the worst versions of Chaos in the game.
Is this the only time you fight Chaos 3?
This is Chaos 2, and
2.
Only Knuckles fights him. But this is another fight where you just have to wait. This fight is so boring. And then Knuckles has to do Chaos 4, which is also a wait fight, and then you also have to do Chaos 6. It's like, come on. Like, 4 characters do Chaos 6. Like, did you really need it?
As a reminder, you do not face ever, or see ever, Chaos 3 or 5. Because the next time Chaos gets Emeralds, he gets 2 at the same time, becoming Chaos 4. And then when he's Chaos 4, he gets 2 at the same time to become Chaos 6. That was something that always, like, actually kind of bothered me playing it growing up, where I was like, I would just like to see Chaos 3 and Chaos 5.
I bet there's so many fan, like, designs, but, like...
who knows, maybe even, like a remake of it or something like that has, like, actual Sega art. Probably not, but
yeah, Chaos 3 and Chaos 5 never should.
Speaking of weird things being released for games...
Alright, just do the thing. Do the thing. Yeah.
Do you know why European Extreme on Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 is called European Extreme? I just found this out the other day.
No idea.
It's because the European version came out like 6 months after the NTSC and Japanese.
It's like a Kingdom Hearts
it's like they added it to it to be like, hey, please buy this, Europe. Here's a harder version. So they called it European Extreme just because it's like...
Oh, they did that with Final Fantasy, both Final Fantasy 10 and 12. The international version has, like, content that America didn't get into the HD re-releases.
Like Nemesis and stuff like that, right? Yeah. The monster hunting final boss.
Yeah.
Or no.
No, Nemesis is in the original one, but Penance and the Dark Aeons aren't.
And that makes sense.
And 12 has the entire Zodiac job system, which is like a completely reworked version of 12. Although I don't think it has much like extra content.
I don't know a single thing about releasing a video game, so I'm sorry if I come off like negative here, but once the game is made into English, I don't understand why it takes 6 months to then bring it out to Europe.
Well, nowadays that doesn't really happen like much anymore.
But even back then, I don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I understand something comes out in Japan, you have to translate to English. There's a whole bunch that goes into that, but why would I don't know? Why would it take like 6 months?
And then there's some other really weird stuff like Terranigma got a European release, but not an American release.
Yeah. I'll never understand. I understand Japanese only. I even understand American.
And there's
only.
so many cool PS1 horror games that only got European releases.
I wonder why Sonic
but why
is
Europe
after
only?
the Master
Well, in
Emerald.
fact,
I better work fast.
one of the Disaster Report games was Europe. No, I'm thinking of Michigan. The PS2 game. I think it's called Michigan.
What do you know?
Is that what it's called?
Oh, right. No, wait. Do I go to Red Hot Mountain?
Something shiny in the cave?
Oh, right. Okay, I get the gloves.
I'm actually curious.
I don't know what you were talking about. I didn't listen.
Michigan Report from Hell is a European-only game that's kind of like a Disaster Report mixed with a Fatal Frame kind of thing. Fatal Frame in so much that you're recording it, and then Disaster Report and Raw
You've got
Danger
the
because
shovel
like
claw.
everything's going to
Now
hell,
you
you
can dig
know.
through dirt and stone. Press the
That
jump and
sucks.
action
That's one of
buttons
those games, and, like,
simultaneously.
I don't ever want to like. I don't like emulating because I just don't feel like it, and I also don't ever want to own anything like PAL. Like,
Yeah, PAL is like the most soulless.
there's some pretty cool ways and easy ways. Like, if you wanted to play Super Famicom games on your SNES, you just break a piece off your SNES, the little cartridge port. And there's other ways to do stuff like that too. But like the European one, they usually use like completely different. I don't know what to call it. Hertz. I don't know what.
Yeah, 50 hertz instead of 60 hertz.
What do you call that?
It's like the refresh rate.
Refresh rate or outputs or whatever.
PAL games until HDTVs were always in 50 FPS, and NTSC, which was American Japan, was in 60 FPS.
So hypothetically, if I got one of those systems, like a European PS2. Well, they have different plugs over there for some reason.
Yeah, they have SCART. They don't have composite. It would not work on American tube TVs.
Right. So you'd have to get like all these like I assume they exist.
Yeah.
Converters.
People that are super enthusiasts, SCART is a superior connector to composite or even component, but it's it really only works with European unless you have adapters.
Wow. Yeah, that's a bit much for me. But yeah, there's a bunch of games. Trev's right, there's a bunch of PS1 horror games, and PS1 horror games are specifically my jam. So it's very frustrating that there's a bunch of stuff where and again, emulating is fine, but I really do enjoy having the actual experience of sitting down here or whatever. I've been playing Final Fantasy IX, the Steam version, and I've been having a lot of fun. I don't feel like hooking up the PS1 and all that kind of stuff, but that's okay with that because it's like a 50, 70 hour game, and I don't want to have to come down to the basement every time I want to play it, you know? That's just annoying. That I can just boot up on my laptop upstairs and just play when the kids are around and stuff. Which, by the way, FF9 has Soul.
Oh, thanks for
Wow, it shows you exactly where it is.
Yeah. Might be a little bit too OP, but again, they changed the hint system in Sonic Adventure 2 just to make the game longer. And just the way that the hint system works, it's text, and you have to be familiar with what the stage, how it works and what the layout is. And if it says, near this group of enemies, it's how are you supposed to know that on your first go?
So I've been watching a bunch of stuff on random NES releases. I really love post-Super Nintendo NES releases. That's, of course, where all the really rare games are going to come from. But there's also a lot of really weird stuff, did you know Lion King came out on NES? It was, the last official game released, but it was only in Europe. and only in some European countries, like Germany and stuff like that. Like, what?
That is weird.
It's so weird.
This way.
And it's as bad as you could imagine being an NES, game of a Super Nintendo game. I'll tell you out there, for any collectors out there,
Good enough.
anyone who's a reseller, like specifically a reseller, just stop watching right now. That's if you have like a game store or a game stand at your local flea market, you have my respect.
Unless you're that one guy that sells us 1 billion Pokemon games.
Oh, he's king.
He's the king
I
reseller.
think his name's Dylan. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Switch. Once whatever comes out after Switch comes out, Switch 2, whatever, and Nintendo officially stops making games for the Switch, buy literally every release that comes out for the Switch. Every single random JRPG, whatever, after the Switch 2 comes out, buy every single one you can. Every single one you can afford or you find or whatever. Guaranteed that stuff is going to be crazy.
I also think that some Switch releases are going to be like $1,000 games.
Yes.
Because some very weird like releases happened even outside of limited run games, like C-grade publishers like P-Cube and Idea Factory that release like obscure Jap games in very limited quantities. I think those games are going to be insanely expensive someday.
Switch is also one of those systems where I don't think it's even feasible, even now, because the Switch has literally, God, 5 more years of releasing games. Like, even if the new Switch comes out next year, which there's no word on it yet, right? They're still going to be making indie games for it for years.
Yeah, if I had to guess, I think the Switch 2 or Super Switch is going to come out holiday next year.
Makes sense. But obviously, that doesn't mean that games are going to like immediately stop coming out for it, especially with how popular it is. So, trying to collect every Switch game would be absolute insanity. Do you remember when Wayne tried to do that, and that was like 4 years ago?
That was like the first year or two, and now
he couldn't even do it.
And now it's even more ridiculous.
Oh, jeez. Oh no, the chaos.
I was buying some of the limited run games for Switch, but it just got to a point where they were releasing like 1 or 2 a week. And like limited release games are not cheap to buy. It's like $40 plus tax plus shipping. You're usually paying like $55 per release. It's like, no way am I doing that.
And I understand you make it as long as people buy it, but that also kind of takes away from the limited run thing. Like when you're like, oh, how many limited run games are there? I don't know. Are there like 100? Are there more?
I bet there's like 300 for Switch.
So, like, that to me isn't limited. I understand each one has a certain amount, has a certain limit, but like at that point it's like, oh yeah, I collected every limited run game, there's 300 of them. I'd be like, that's not very limited, is it? You know? And that's now.
Yeah,
Give it a couple more years, there might be 500 of them. So anyway, yeah, just keep that in the back of your mind. Whenever Nintendo's like, this is the last official Switch game that we're making, every random thing you see in whatever your local game store or a GameStop or a Best Buy where they're like, hey, this random release came out for $20, just buy it. It doesn't matter what it is. It's going to at least stay that value, if not go higher. But that's only if you're a collector, not if you're a reseller. If you're a reseller, you can go kick stones. A reseller without a store. I was going to add that, because I respect the hustle, but I don't respect the hustle if all you do is go into Best Buy and go, oh, I'll take every one of that thing, so children cannot have it. Thank you.
Without naming him, do you ever see Subway Kid anymore?
Once in a while.
Okay. I never see him.
He has a kid now. He was in the other day and he got a couple Skylanders.
Cringe.
Yup. He was,
Maybe that's why he's chilled out. He's an idiot.
Yep. I would be totally okay with that. Dealing with him taught me a lot of things. It taught me to not... It taught me to not give free estimates out for stuff. After the 4th or 5th time of being like, oh, it comes to this much, and him going, cool, thanks, I'm gonna hold on to it. And then just being like, cool, I'm not giving free estimates, you can go somewhere else for that. Or you can do your own research. Like, if it happens once or twice with someone, that's fine. I I don't view myself as an unreasonable person, but if someone comes in every week and they're like, I'd like to trade this in or sell it, and I go, cool, it's this much, and they go, all right, cool, I'll think about it, and then they do that like over and over again, I'm like, yeah, I'm not a free service here, lad.
Yeah, and he would do really annoying stuff like find the most obscure games and then trade it like exactly. Be like, how about I'll do this game with this game, and can you knock it up a couple bucks? Yeah. It's just like it sounds like very benign, but like that's all he did all the time.
Yeah,
for like a year.
If someone does that once in a while, I mean, I have that happen where a customer's like, hey, I have this stack of games, but I really only want to get FF16. What can out of here can come up to $70? I'm like, that's a reasonable request, right? Like, that's totally reasonable. But if they came in like twice a week and was like, oh, I want this $10 game, what exactly can I trade to be 10? I'd be like, bro, just trade stuff in and save credit next time. Come on, you know? But yeah, that's a totally reasonable request if it happens once in a while. In fact, I kind of like it. It's like, it's fun to be like, this is a completely even swap. It's pretty cool. But yeah, luckily nobody knows who Subway Kid is except for me and Trev.
Yep.
It's a shame that now that we're generally busier and I just have a lot more going on, we have more customers that come into the store than obviously our first couple years. Our first couple years, it was a much less big customer base, but the same people we had to deal with over and over again, like Weed Hat Kid. A kid, he wasn't a kid, he was like a teenager who had just the most obnoxious hat, that like colored hat that just had a marijuana leaf on it. And I was like, that's Weed Hat Kid.
Xbox Kid.
Xbox Kid.
I saw Xbox Kid literally today. He's more like Xbox Young Adult.
Yeah, Xbox Young Adult. Sonic Kid, Sega Kid, Garrison. Remember Garrison? He's really chilled down now. I called... Garrison would annoy me quite a bit, but back then I had much more of a temper, and Garrison was also very annoying. So I would call him Gosh Dang It Garrison, except for not Gosh Dang It, if you catch my drift. And he was in my phone as Gosh Dang It Garrison, which I still find to be really funny. I forget why I had to have his number. I think, like, I had to give him a ride home sometime, or something like that.
Yeah, because he would just hang out at the store for hours.
Yeah, he would literally hang out, like, all day, every day. But, obviously, it's been 10 years, and he's chill, and I'm chiller and all that. We don't really have so many people that have nicknames anymore. It's a shame.
Yeah, not much.
I'm sure when I visited other game stores, I probably had nicknames of, like, picky guy that buys a lot of stuff, which shouldn't be a big deal to most people. We have Atari Wayne, NES Ryan, of course, but that's forever.
Two stone statues.
Oh yeah, this part. Okay.
The door to the past.
Oh,
I specifically remember.
yeah,
this.
the statue is literally right next to the start.
I don't know if I ever. Oh yeah, it's literally right there. I don't know if I ever told you this story. So. What you remember Wayne, Atari Wayne?
Yeah.
I was just talking about with Switch. This is why it reminded me of it. He told me a story one time. You know when he goes on his... So we have a customer, and he hasn't done it recently, but for years he would go on these... When it was cheaper to do so, he would go on these buying binges, where he'd be like, I want every Atari game I could find. And he would just literally go out and to like in a couple week time span and go to like every store and be like, he had a printed out list, and he would go through and he'd be like, I don't have that, I'm taking it. And then after a couple of years, he'd be like, Spence, I'm done. And he would message me, and we would work something out, and I'd buy it from him. Obviously, the retro game market is way too crazy to do that anymore. But there was one time he was picking out a bunch of stuff at, oh, okay, I was gonna say, why would that thing be there?
This took me a while to find, so I was like, gotta memorize where this is.
He went to a place, I don't think it exists anymore in York. He's from York, which is about an hour away from us, give or take. And he was buying a bunch of stuff, and the worker there was like, obviously didn't know him super well, and was like, I guess I have to go get a box for all this stuff. And I was like, and he said it like that, not like I would joke.
I remember this story.
I would joke with someone and be like, guess I'm gonna get a box. and I would do it, right? But like, imagine someone, and Wayne was a high roller, or is a high roller. Like, if he came in, I'd be like, all right, rent's paid for the week. Like, essentially, like he's a high roller. So imagine someone spending like $500 on like a bunch of retro games and being like, "Oh, are you done yet? I guess I gotta get a box for all this stuff." I would literally fire the person immediately.
Seriously.
And if the person was the owner, I would be like, "You are the dumbest human ever." Because Wayne's also a really good, not annoying guy, and he's not picky. So there's sometimes like I'm picky. So when I went to local game stores, I'd be like, "Can I see that? Can I see this out of the case?" And if something wasn't to the exact what I wanted, I'd be like, I'll have to pass, it's okay. And I understand someone getting annoyed about that. But Wayne would be like, I'll take that. So imagine just being like, oh, I guess I have to get a box for this. Wayne's nicer than me. Wayne still did the transaction. I'd be like, no, you don't. And I would just leave. But that's I'm a little, what's the word? Petty. In very weird ways.
Yeah, I'm also weirdly petty in weird ways.
I feel like it's one of those things where if you're like, you don't even have to be super nice to me. I really don't want someone to like, be like, oh, it's this guy. We have to wait hand on foot. And like, I don't want that. But like, just someone to be like, hey, how's it going? Good. Okay, cool. Can I get that? Yeah, man. Great. I like this game. I'd be like, that's all I need, right?